Alright guys, so right now this is the next day after filming the last video and I got a little bit of breakfast here, so I want to show you guys what I'm eating today. I'm going to be hitting a little upper body day. If you guys remember from last video, I'm kind of on a 2,700 calorie diet right now and I have the flexibility to eat a lot more, and actually as of recently 2,700 calories has been feeling like a whole lot. Like I'm not used to eating that much volume, especially too, granted after prep, I've been eating so intuitively. So we have the missus here. Hello. And yeah, so let's kind of dive into what we have. So for the lady, she has her protein waffles, her real good chicken, and an egg. And over here I have 4 eggs, 2 English muffins, some avocado, and then I really love pancakes and I needed a big carb source before this workout, so I have these Kodiak protein pancakes with some sugar-free maple syrup. I'm gonna be drinking my water too, and after this we're gonna be heading to the gym. I'm gonna get a little upper body day in. I'm black. Okay. I'm gonna be getting a little upper body day in, and I kind of want to run you guys through my workout, so yeah, I'll probably do like a little voiceover, kind of like I did in that one back day I know a lot of you guys liked. So, but we're gonna enjoy our breakfast here. You look so pretty. And I'll probably see you guys in the car. Alright guys, I also forgot, I want to show you guys what supplements I'm currently taking. Right now I'm taking beef liver, which is really good. Beef liver is one of the most micronutrient dense foods, and I am not a fan of eating beef liver like my friend Aiden, who actually eats raw beef liver, but I can't do that. So Mine has these capsules. You could use Coach Aiden to pick yourself up some of those. We also have these omega-3s from Gorilla. Gorilla honestly doses their supplements really, really well, which is why I like to go with them. Obviously, totally not biased because I'm sponsored, but they do really have some really good supplements that are dosed really well. I also do have vitamin D3 and K2. This is like pretty essential, pretty classic. And then we also do have this boron, which synthesizes pretty well with the vitamin D3. So, yeah. Alright guys, so right now we're on the way to the gym. Me and Caroline are actually going to a gym that we used to train at. A lot of our like original, I guess you could say OG TikToks or films here. It's a gym in Orlando called Iron Religion. If you guys also remember, I worked out with Andy back over here back then. It's a really sweet gym. I also worked out here with Lucas and Tommy Spalding, Tommy Brown. I have a lot of memories here. Basically, me and Carolina were just talking about limitations by other people, right? So what I mean by that is the fundamental ideology that you have to abide by others and you have to live your life a certain way just because of the way that others portray life, right? Or how you should live life, whether it's like the general public, whether it's your parents, you know. At the end of the day, if you are an adult and you are capable of making your own decisions, you should be doing whatever the heck you want to do, you know. So basically in life, you are granted the opportunity to live this life once. And with that being said, you are capable of so many things. In reality, the only thing that limits you is your mind and what you deem as a limit or a capability. So basically what I'm telling you guys is you should have the free will to do whatever you want. If you want to travel the world, I mean, a perfect example is my friend Ken. He was with me early in January and he was very frustrated with where he was at. I'm not gonna get too into detail, but just with his life, he wanted change, you know? And then literally a few hours before this flight, he booked it to Japan, and he decided to live there for 2 months. And I saw him recently, we spoke about his trip, and he said it was one of the best decisions that he's ever made, right? And it's so crazy that you could literally completely change your life in just a matter of seconds by deciding to live for yourself. Like, who do you know that is out there that just ultimately decides to leave out the country to somewhere completely different, somewhere where they're going to be uncomfortable, because obviously there's so many different standards and social norms and a completely other country, right? Who does that? Who books a flight completely out of the country within the matter of like hours before they have to leave? That spontaneousness is very admirable, and I think spontaneousness and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is what's going to carry you to lead a very grand life. And I just want all of you guys to know that you all have the power to live that life, you know? So TLDR, live for yourself, set yourself high standards, high goals, and make sure that you put yourself in situations that you may not know the outcome of it, you know, it may be uncertain, but a lot of times those situations, if you really want to do something, you have to put yourself in that situation to get what you ultimately want. So but yeah, me and Carolina were just talking about that briefly, and I figured I'd share that with you guys because that's the reason why I'm here today. That's the reason why she's here today. We're in the position that we're in. And so whatever you guys are going through, whether it's like you're in school and you don't want to do school because you're only in school because your parents are telling you to do school, whatever, like, stop wasting your time. That's not something you want to do. The only thing that you're doing is wasting your days away from like time that you could spend invested in your goals. You think about all the time and money you invest into school. What if you invested all that into something you genuinely want to achieve? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's maybe a safer route or more secure, but you're just gonna live like everybody else. So if you're happy with being stagnant and normal, and you know, there's people out there who are like, they want to live a normal life, like, kudos to you, go do that. But I know a lot of you guys are probably ambitious and have these big dreams, but you have to have the will and I guess the mental fortitude to back it up, because if not, you're not going to get anywhere. So, but yeah, that's kind of like my little talk that I wanted to give you guys before we got to the gym. But I'll see you guys when we get to Iron Religion. Alright guys, so I haven't made a voiceover for you guys in a long time, and I figured now would be perfect. I haven't been uploading on YouTube as consistently up until this point, so it's been quite a while. And I know the one YouTube video that I did do back when I did a back day popped off, so I know you guys really like that. So anyway, we're here at Iron Religion, me and Carolina. We're hitting a upper body day, and keep in mind, this is me probably like 2 weeks back getting into like a proper split. This is Carolina's like third day of working out since her accident. And yeah, overall the lift was really good. Here we started with some incline Smith, did a couple warm-up sets lately. By the way, the whole structure that I do have as of right now, by the way, peep the BD drop, it's live right now. Everything is probably sold out, but you can get pre-order. So I know I filmed this video a couple days ago and it's supposed to drop the day of the drop, but everything should be on pre-order right now. The way I've been structuring all of my lifts as of late has been a one set with very high intensity, low rep range, basically being from 4 to 6. And prior, I would do both of my working sets for a exercise with that same intensity. But I've been kind of experimenting. I worked out with Coach not long ago, and we kind of experimented with this first set, high intensity, very low volume kind of structure, and then going into a back down set where we drop the weight and we go into more of a 8 to 10 rep range. So usually how I'll structure my exercises, I'll do a set of 4 to 6, and then I'll follow that up with a back down set with a rep range between 8 to 10. And with this incline Smith, I'm trying to keep my elbows tucked. TNF has some really good advice on how to kind of properly structure your incline movements, because oftentimes we'll get on an incline bench, we'll be arching our back, we'll be having our hands all wide and whatnot, and in the end we're just doing a flat press, right? So you want to keep, one thing I've been really trying to work on is keeping my spine stabilized, straight, keeping my back straight on the bench. With any movement I do, I want to keep my spine as structured and stabilized as possible. I'll do that, and then another cue that I keep in mind is also just keeping my elbows tucked and really trying to get that adduction in my upper pec, right? So here I'm doing my back down set, and like I said, we'll be doing 8 to 10 reps on that back down set. I think for this set I got 8, And as you guys can also notice, I'm also not going all the way down. And for that reason, I'm trying to keep all the tension within my chest. I'm not trying to get my shoulder. I'm trying to isolate my upper chest with this movement. So the whole goal is to keep my chest isolated. And as you guys can see, I dropped the weight down a bit and we got 8 reps and it feels pretty good. The pump is pretty crazy too. And then following my first chest movement, typically I'll do a back movement, but for today's sake, I ended up going into a tricep movement. Triceps are something that my physique lacks and I always want to improve on. So with that being said, a big factor that you guys should consider is prioritizing your weak points into your workout. So let's just say you're doing a push day and your shoulders are really weak. Rather than starting with chest, start with the shoulder movement or something like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, we keep the same ideology. We do a set here for 4 to 6 reps, and then we move into a back down set of 8 to 10 reps. And with tricep pushdowns, I think the main goal here is to really try your best to keep all the tension in your triceps by maintaining your elbows straight and maintaining a straight spine as well. I know it's very easy for people to feel tricep pushdowns in their lats. Of course, you're also probably going to get involuntarily some core activation as well. But if you can try your best to maintain all of your tension in your triceps, they are super, super effective for growing your triceps. And this is probably one of my favorite tricep movements. After this, I moved into a dumbbell curl movement. And with my dumbbell curls, as I'm trying to progress, I've been hard stuck at 60 for the longest. I decided to use my straps today, which actually do make a pretty big difference. As you guys can tell, my forearms are pretty dominant within my physique, and I know that my forearms can get a lot of tension from movements. And I think when I first started working out, I would get a lot of forearm tension within my back movements because I would never use straps for anything prior. But nowadays, the game has changed. I want to isolate movements. I want to isolate the target muscle group that I'm trying to grow. And for that reason, I'm using straps. So today, we got into the 65s and they actually felt pretty freaking good. I kind of ego lifted a bit, I'm not gonna lie. I was able to get 4 reps on each side, but it was definitely a bit of a battle. And one thing I will say is being stuck at a certain weight for so long, you kind of just have to send it and get your body accustomed to that heavier weight, because if you don't push your limits or whatever you mentally believe is your limit, then you're never gonna get anywhere. Anyways, you could see me drinking my little pink drink, which is in reality just electrolytes. Electrolytes honestly help a lot mid-lift. I think that's probably the best time to take them. I mean, you should be getting your sodium and potassium through just your daily diet, but electrolytes definitely help me stay hydrated and just keep me fluid throughout my workout, or just having like an intro workout. A big tip, big kind of like free game thing is coconut water with electrolytes. It's a very good intro workout. You have all the electrolytes that you need. You're also getting your glycogen restored with all the carbohydrates that come with coconut water. And yeah, I used to mix my electrolyte packet, which you can get anywhere. You can get from Gorilla, you can get the liquid IV. Honestly, anything is fine. Just try to make sure to find one that has a good sodium to potassium ratio. And I used to mix it in my coconut water. I'd get the white pressed one, and you will notice the difference. You'll feel a lot more fluid with your movements, and you'll feel a lot more less fatigue throughout your workout. Anyway, following the dumbbell curls, I ended up moving into my back movement, which, like I said, I typically would place after my chest movement. But for today's sake, we ended up doing it later. Our backs were still a little bit sore. We ended up doing a lat pull down, more specifically this hammer strength plate loaded lat pull down. I really do love plate loaded machines, especially when it comes to a lat pull down. There's one in particular at my home gym that's by Prime that converges and it's really nice. But the main goal with this, keep your spine straight. Try to keep the leverage within your lat, so you don't want to let your arms go too far up, and you want to make sure that you're squeezing your elbow down. And I imagine that you're bringing it down to your hip almost, and you'll also be able to maintain as much possible tension within your lat. And then from my back movement, I moved into my shoulder movement, and typically I would be doing 1 set of press, and then I'd end up following that later on with 2 sets of lateral raises. But for today's sake, since we were a little bit short on time, I jumped right into the lateral raises, and we did 2 sets here everything so far has been following the same ideology. Having that first set being a top set, being really heavy, only being able to produce 4 to 6 reps, and then moving into a second set at a lower intensity, higher rep range rather, both relatively going to failure. And the main goal with these, try to imagine that all the weight is being driven through your elbows in a sense. So I feel like a lot of people can get the weight distribution on this movement incorrect, but if you can really focus on, again, keeping your spine straight and driving all the way through your elbows, you should be able to feel it very well in your shoulders. From there, I finished up my chest workout with a fly. Usually I'll do a pec deck, but I really do love the seated cable fly. I used to do this all the time when I came to iron, and you can really feel tension all in your chest. And another main cue here is a lot of people will tend to drive their elbows all the way back when they're doing a pec deck or a fly. Typically, you'll see people set their pec deck all the way to like the furthest setting away so they can get as much quote unquote squeeze within their chest, but that's not the case at all. Like I said, with the incline press, you want to keep as much tension as you can in your chest. So with that being said, once you get to a certain point, you're going to lose leverage in your chest. Same thing with the lat pull down. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your elbows at a certain point so you can maintain all that tension within your chest. And then from there, typically I'll move into a rear delt row or a T-bar row or something of that nature. But for today's sake, we're kind of trying to speed through things. So we ended up doing a rear delt fly, and another cue for this is to drive through your elbows. Try to make sure that you keep all that tension in your rear delt. And yeah, that was today's workout. I hope you guys enjoyed. These are clips from the new drop. So if you guys want to cop anything, I think Mrs. is wearing an XS in the hoodie. I'm wearing a large. And then the comps, I think she's wearing a double XS and I'm wearing a medium. So I'll leave some sizes and stuff in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed.
So what do you want?
These rings, the girlfriend has gotten us some new rings. Brand reached out to her. This is the cool thing about being an influencer, is that brands will reach out to you.
You can get free things.
Yeah, you get a lot of free things. But right now, we just ate. I had some rice and beef. She had some rice and beef. And as I said, we're back on plan. So, trying to be locked in, no more eating out. Because Lord knows how many times we've eaten out this year.
I feel like it had also something to do with me not being able to work out too.
Honestly, yeah, that's a big thing. And I kind of want I want her to kind of open up on that a little bit for you guys. So I know there's a lot of people who are out there struggling with an injury or whatever it may be that won't allow them to work out. And for those who are healthy and able to work out but like can't lock in, I feel like it'll give you a new sense of appreciation of your health.
For sure.
So
that's one thing that I told him. Every time I would go to the gym with him, even though I wouldn't work out, I would tell him to work out for me as well. So, work out for those of us who can't work out.
Yeah, exactly. But like we said, she's starting to slowly come back, and I'm coming back with like my dowel in. So yeah, after this, we're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna chill. We'll talk to you guys, and then that should be it for this video. But wanna be more consistent with YouTube, so we're trying to dial in. But yeah, check out the hoodies, by the way. New drop April 23rd. It should be tomorrow for you guys if you're watching. Well, what's today? Actually, it should be today. So if you guys are watching, it should be like right now. Link in bio. Use her code, use my code. please, it'll support us a lot. But yeah. All right, guys. So it's about 10:46 right now. I'm blinding ourselves, and we're at the beach, and I figure now is a good time to talk to you guys. It's nothing like the beach at night. It's very peaceful. Literally just us and the ocean and the moon, and it can be a little scary. You can't see anything. You can't see really anything except the faintness of the waves, but that's also the beauty of it. I was talking to Carolina earlier, and I was just telling her, despite all the madness going on right behind us, which is, you know, the towns and cities and the rest of America, they're all right behind us while we're on the coast. Here, we can kind of find peace and separation from everything else. So, if you guys have a beach nearby, you guys should go check out a beach at night. It's very peaceful. Definitely go with somebody. Bring a friend. It's fun. Bring some snacks. We actually got some snacks from Publix because I need to hit my calorie goal. She needs to hit her calorie goal. And low-key eating has been hard. So we got some grapes. She got an Uncrustable. We got protein shakes. And then I got Just Delicious. So we already ran through the grapes, so there's a couple more. I ate a lot of grapes. Anyway, that's a little recap. We had a little upper body day, and over at Iron Religion, super good. Right now, as I said, I'm on PPO upper lower, so PPO rest, upper lower rest, but it's a little wonky right now, so I'm gonna be resting tomorrow and then hitting a lower day following day. But yeah, I've been really liking PPO upper lower. I feel like that's like the most optimal split and just the most fun, honestly. And aside from that, you know, I kind of wanted the lady to open up a little bit with everything she's been dealing with for the past 6-7 months. If you guys don't know already, she got in a really major car accident in October of 2025. She got rear-ended by what was a multi-car accident, but the initiator was a big semi-truck, and she's been dealing with very bad back pain since then. So I kind of want her to talk on that because she really hasn't been able to go to the gym since a few days ago. So yeah, if you want to speak on that, my love.
What do you want me to say?
Well, you can say whatever you want to say. This is your podium. This is your speech. I want you to just speak on what you want to say. Just think about it like this. There are a couple thousand people out there.
Oh, I don't want to think about it like that.
Well,
it's scary.
hear me out. There's a couple thousand people out there who could be going through the same thing that you're going through. So I want you to think about all those negative emotions and painful feelings that you felt throughout these past 6 months. And also I want you to think about what you have learned over this time, kind of being detached from the gym, and just, I guess, yeah, anything regarding that, if that makes you feel a little better.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest battles is not even like myself physically, but myself mentally.
Right.
I mean, it goes hand in hand right there, but I think the hardest thing to accept was the fact that I'm not gonna be the same physically as I was before, which really makes me very, very sad because, I mean, obviously, you guys all know, like, gym was like my everything. That was my job. It was everything I did. And to have it stripped away so quick like that out of nowhere, it's just, it was very discouraging to say the least. Right after it happened, there's so much that I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I'd like to say to everyone that's maybe not dealing with an injury is to not take your bodies, like your abled bodies, for granted, because there are so many people out there that wish they had the same capabilities that you do and be able to step in a gym and do the things that, I mean, I'm lucky I'm still even alive. The fact that I'm even here is, I thank God. Like, it was a miracle.
There's people from that accident who are still in the hospital. There's people who died, you know.
Yeah.
thank God, I thank God every day that she's still here with me.
Yeah.
She's still trekking around, even though, you know, it may not feel the same. You're still here, and you have the opportunity to live life again. If you don't mind, I kind of want to touch up on that, because definitely seeing her firsthand, right, my partner.
You've seen it all.
Well, just seeing her go through everything, it also pushes me, because like she said, you know, if you have an able body that's physically capable of doing something, utilize it, because not everybody has that, and you never know when it's gonna get taken away. If you guys have been following me for a while, I got in a really bad car accident about August of 2023, and that was a real eye-opener. I got really lucky, really lucky. A drunk driver came, rear-ended me and my friend in our truck. We went flipping across the highway, and we thankfully left practically unscathed. I was able to get away with just missing the gym for a month, and I'm here, you know, like I am here, and I feel like that really clicked in my brain. That's when it really does humble you, because your life really can be taken just like that.
So easily.
And it also was a motivator, because after that, that's when I locked in with content and things just got moving, you know, and I was like, all right, like I gotta take this stuff serious while I can, because not saying that I envision my life with a limit, but I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has a limit. But, you know, the main thing that I'm getting at is that every day is an opportunity to become the best version of yourselves, you know?
Yeah.
You have every day to expand, whether you're chasing something that is aside from physical, anything that you're chasing, you have an opportunity to get to where you need to be. So make the most of it. Make the most of your capabilities, you know?
Around the time of my accident, I was still in nursing school, which I don't know if you guys know, but nursing school is actually
Oh my gosh.
the hardest thing that you can study, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
know
care
how
what-
she did that
I
shit.
don't
She
know.
graduated, by the way.
Oh, yeah, after my accident, because that happened in October, and I graduated in December.
Gosh.
But for those 2 months, I was still going to the hospital to do 12-hour clinicals 2 times a week. I was still showing up to class 5 times a week.
By the way, at like 6, 7 a.m. So she was waking up at 5 a.m. every single freaking day. I don't know how she did that. And then keep in mind, 2 of those days, she's going to a hospital to be there for 12 hours.
Literally. So during all that, I was going through all this like back pain, all this physical pain, and all this mental pain as well. The day of the accident, I was actually coming back from the hospital to go meet him at a cafe so I could go study for an exam. And by the way, I missed like 2 exams, and guess who had to retake those exams? Literally me. I had to freaking take like 2 exams in 1 week. By the way, 100 questions each. It was just horrible. It was just crazy. Like, just thinking about it, how did I do that?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, like, you just have to, like, oh my gosh. I don't know how I did that, genuinely. But
And at the time, literally, I remember, sorry to cut you off.
No,
there,
you're okay.
But literally at the time, I remember I was going through the thick of prep. I was losing it, because I was like, I don't want to do this shit. Why am I going to do bodybuilding, blah, 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 blah. I don't care to get judged by other men when I'm half naked on a stage, like, whatever. And I was starving, and I just wanted to enjoy my time with my girlfriend. Then she gets in this accident. Then, keep in mind, prior, you're already super stressed about school, because it's taking up so much of your time and so much effort. And this just happens and completely almost derails you. I remember there was a week, and we were just like, well, if, you know, things go south, they go south. Like, if I end up dropping out of my show, I drop out. And if she
I
ends
ended
up
up dropping out of school.
yeah, if she ends up like not going back to
Good,
school after the
yeah.
accident, then so be it. But then at the same time, later we were like, okay, like, you have these 2 exams, you're just gonna go in there, you're gonna kill it. I literally have 4 weeks left of prep, so I need to see it through. And we were basically keeping each other accountable. It's another beautiful thing about partnership, right? We were able to be there for each other when we were going through very tough parts of our life, you know? And we did it. And at the time, we were so like, oh, I don't know if we're able or capable of doing this, right? Like, it was so unrealistic to be able to finish prep and for her to finish school despite the accident, but we did it. And I feel like this is like a perfect example of your mind, right? Your mind and your perception plays such a big role in what you can and can't do. So you guys can literally do anything. If she could do that, if I could do that, you know, where our minds were literally beating ourselves up to the point where we thought there was literally a 0% chance of fulfilling whatever accomplishment we want to fulfill, but then we ended up doing it, like, and killing it, by the way. Like, she passed her class and like passed her exams, like practically acing them, and you know, I did prep and I got my pro card, and it's like, wow, we went through whatever we went through and we finished it. So pretty crazy. But yeah, I know also too, I feel like you had a lot of like mental ups and downs.
Oh yeah, for
with
sure.
everything.
I feel like, I mean, even before, I was someone who never really struggled with any, you know, mental issues or whatever, like
Anxiety, depression.
any of that. But right after the car accident, I think even now, like, I still struggle with it. I've developed like the most insane amount of stress and anxiety, and I mean, not anymore, but even like depression as well. I mean, it comes and goes in waves, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll get in my head about it, but back then it was very, very hard, especially, I mean, like I said, accepting the fact that I don't have the body that I used to. I don't have the able body that I did back then. That was really, really, really hard to accept. And even after the accident, I still kept going to the gym because I was
resilient. You were very, very bold in that aspect.
I was very egotistical. I was like, I'm not gonna let this injury like define me. But at the end of the day, I had to stop going to the gym because it was causing more damage than good. So I had to put my ego aside and my pride aside for a bit, and I stopped going for a while, and that messed me even more up. My mental was just not where it needed to be. Like, it was horrible. I mean, I don't know how you dealt with. I mean, I couldn't even step into a gym without starting to cry.
Yeah, no, I remember
like,
every time we went to the gym.
Every time.
She would cry, even when, you know, she really. I mean, I really am thankful that you would even accompany me, because there'd be times where she wouldn't work out, but she'd just come with me, just to be there with me and spend time with me. But even then, obviously, it's very painful, and it was painful for me to watch her like see that, because she's literally going somewhere where she has like no ability to do the thing that she loves, and like seeing her just watch made me sad, but also motivated me too, because like obviously I am the one capable of doing something, so I want to make the most of what I can. Do you have anything you want to say that kind of helped you deal with that or cope with that? Do you feel like time helped? Do you feel like there was a mental shift that you had, or something that you realized? Or
honestly, it was just time. I mean, even now I feel like I'm still struggling with it. I still have the same physical pain that I had before. I feel like I've just gotten used to it. But yeah, I think just giving myself time, and also having you, like, just literally, like, I'm gonna get emotional talking about it.
Okay.
But like, genuinely, having you really like helped me a lot. I don't think I would have been able to get through this without you, babe.
You're
Like,
such a strong and resilient woman, baby.
No,
I'm
but
very
like,
proud of you.
you
saving
being
it
there, like,
here.
you being there helped a lot, babe. Like,
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm crying.
That's okay. One thing I can say is, we were just watching a video, and it was talking about, you know, a lot of people at our age kind of sidetracking, but not sidetracking, because this will all tie back in the end. But a lot of people at our age, they're so focused on themselves, and, you know, not really necessarily just themselves, but doing things that are very self-fulfilling, like clubbing, drinking, drugs, whatever it may be, hooking up, you know, like all that stuff. And one thing I can say is, if you can find a partner, a godly partner who has good morals, who is somebody that you can grow with, somebody you can go to and feel safe with, at a young age, cherish that and hold on to it as dearly as you possibly can, because that is the greatest gift that God can give you. And this woman is the greatest gift that God has gifted me with, and I couldn't thank God enough every single day for having such a beautiful partner. And somebody that inspires me, somebody who just makes me feel alive. Like she backs me up with everything. She's ambitious, she's goal driven, she's amazing, she's perfect in my eyes. And what I'm tying back to this is basically, if you guys can find somebody that you can build and grow with, right? Granted that you are at a point yourself where you have kind of detached from this lifestyle that everybody wants to kind of achieve at our age, and you kind of just focus on like the basics, right? Building with somebody, growing with somebody, that's the most beautiful thing you can have. So I think finding a partner at our age is something that's very beneficial, and that if you guys don't have a partner already, it's hard to say, because I don't want to say that you should be looking for one, but at the same time, like, be doing everything that you can to be creating the best version of yourself, so when that partner does come into your life, you're ready to build with them, build a future with them, build a family with them, and just cherish them, you know? It's something that's very valuable. And like she said, she was in a position where she was able to have somebody to lean on, somebody that can be there for her. And there's been numerous times where I've been in positions where I needed to lean on her, and we lean off each other, and we build with each other, we grow with each other. And you know, we may not be perfect in every aspect, but we're there to pick each other back up, and we're there to listen to each other and heal with each other. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. So I'm very grateful. That's one thing that I will say. Focus on building the best version of yourself for that person that's going to come into your life. So
just trust me, you did not have to do half of the things that you did for me, but you still did them.
Of course, yeah. I love you. When you love somebody, there is nothing in the world that you wouldn't do for that person. So it's quite a special feeling. I thank God that He let us. We were kind of talking about that earlier. I don't know if you guys know how we met. Back in August of 2024, I moved back to Florida in June of 2024. A couple months later, I happened to go to Crunch Gym, and I met this woman. And funny enough, you know, I'm a very to myself person. I'm not the type of person to go out my way to say hi to anybody. I was with Cameron. You guys all should remember Cameron, all my OGs. He used to film for me. She actually went up to Cameron when he was filming for me, and she was just curious about film and videography, because content was a path that she was interested in, right? Like, she was going to the gym, and she's very curious about content. And basically, me and Cameron were very close. He was practically my only friend when I lived here in Florida. So Cameron, if you're watching this, I miss you, I love you. And she came up to him, and he invited her to like work out with us, because me and Cameron used to work out all the time. And then we became acquainted, and from that point on, she expressed her interest in making content. So every now and then I'd give her tips and advice, and Cameron would help film for her and whatnot. And then later, following year of 2025, she got really into it. She started posting a lot, and she started getting a lot of motion. She started getting a lot of motion on TikTok and Instagram, and things started to pop off. From that point on, well, actually not too long after that, actually prior to that, I think it was prior to that, he had invited me to watch sunrise with you at the beach. And completely platonic by the way.
Very.
And that was really our first instance where it's just her and I, and we really got to know each other a lot more. So we became closer from that point on. She started popping off on socials. BD hit her up, and then she got sponsored. So crazy, by the way. When I met her, she literally had like no posts for like fitness practically on her Instagram. And then within the matter of a few months, she just did that. And then obviously we became close because she was the only other affiliate that was here in Orlando at the time. So we'd hang out a lot, we'd record, make videos. Everybody would be like, oh my God, what a cute couple in the comments. But we were solely platonic.
We're just friends.
And then after, you know, time went by, I moved back to Cali of June last year. And I was basically telling her how crazy it is that, you know, I went to Cali initially for school from 2021 to 2024. And I remember when I moved back, I thought it was so regressive. I was like, damn, like I dropped out of school, I'm moving back in with my parents, like what am I doing? I feel like such a bum. And in reality, moving back was like the biggest change of my life of all time, because I met the love of my life without me knowing it. I started popping off with BD, started getting flown out for photo shoots, and I was able to quit my normal job. And yeah, and then obviously I moved back to Cali, and then a couple months later, we fell in love. We literally fell in love. So crazy little story, but
It's like almost, it's like you were supposed to come back to Florida so we
can meet. Yeah.
and then you just went back after.
Literally, and now we're starting our new life. Out there we have our apartment starting in July. Practically have been together for almost a year at that point. Known each other for almost 2 years, which is crazy. Time is flying. We're going to Dominican Republic in June. Really excited for that. Aside from all that, I just want her to come on here and talk a little bit more about her injury, just because something that I always express to her, that, you know, you have something that's very, very powerful, you know. You dealt with all of this, you went through all of this, but now you carry something very powerful. And thank God that you have the platform that you have, because you have a couple 100,000 people who watch you, and you could share all that pain and give comfort to others, you know. So something that's very powerful, and I hope that her message was able to touch some of you guys as well. I want you guys to always be hopeful, always be just trusting in God's timing.
I was just thinking that I was gonna kind of cut you off to say that. Like,
go ahead, man.
Honestly, just trusting God. Like, I know everything. It's so cliche, but genuinely, everything happens for a reason. I'm not gonna lie, it's been very hard to see what the reasoning for this is, but I know that it's gonna come to me, and I'm gonna look back and be like, oh,
100%.
that's why that happened. That's why I had to get into that accident. That's why I had to go through all the things that I went through.
Exactly. And one thing I can say is that I've seen so much progress within this girl. So much strength building, so much resilience, so much perseverance. I've seen all the ups and downs, but regardless, she has not given up. So that's one thing that keeps me pushing every day, you know. Despite her circumstance, she still hasn't given up, and she's still going. And she's someone that's always been special to me, right? Like, I always seen her, and I knew that she was very capable of doing a lot of things, and, you know, she proved it, right? 250,000 following on TikTok and Instagram. She got flown out for photo shoots. She basically did everything that I did, but better. And it's just crazy to see, like, all of her progression, right? One thing I can say too, that's very special about her, is she never looked at me for what was kind of like on the outside, I guess, but she always looked at me for what was on the inside. She never judged me just because of my social media presence or anything like that, but I always felt care and appreciation truly for who I was. And that's something that, you know, no one has ever done. So I'm very thankful to have met a woman like her. But anyways, as I was saying, just kind of wanted to touch up on that. Like I said, just trust God's timing with everything. Be patient. Bodybuilding teaches you patience. Patience is kind of what I was getting at last video. So utilize that skill, because it's one hell of a skill to have, and it's one hell of a thing to deal with. But if you can persevere and keep going, something good is bound to happen. So anyways, I love you all. We're gonna enjoy this night at the beach. God bless you guys. Peace.